Hey, everyone. Welcome in. I typically don't go live around this time of day, but I wanted to make sure that I made some time to come and go live with you all um, because I'm generally busy in the mornings. So I wanted to just make sure that I was making this time and that I was coming on. And I wanted to come and talk about, are you ready to write a bestseller? Let's talk about it, right? Because when we're talking about best-selling books, when I'm referring to best-selling books, I'm specifically referring to what's considered thought leadership books. Thought leadership books are your how-to books. These are your business books, relationship books, right? Um, they may be considered self-help, right? A variety of topics, but they typically are going to fall within the self-help or the how to business, relationship, money, finance, health, and career space. So when I'm talking about a bestseller, I'm talking about bestsellers in those particular genres, not fiction or romance or any of that. And I think that sometimes people tend to get it confused, but I'm specifically talking about thought leadership books, how to self help, books that are solution based and are results driven. Okay. And so what I find is that a lot of people tend to be attracted to the idea of writing a book without considering whether or not they are qualified or capable of writing it. And I'm not coming here to try to distract anybody. I'm coming here to be real because a lot of people start writing books and then due to doubt and due to a lot of other things, they're not successful with it. A lot of people may go the self-publishing route and then write their own books, but then they find that they are struggling to market the book, to sell the book, and to monetize the book. And they make the error of thinking that, oh, it's because they need an extensive marketing plan, when really it boils down to the foundation. So that's what I want to talk about tonight, or this evening. Like, determining whether or not you're ready to write and how to conduct, that self-assessment and move forward. Okay. So the first thing that you need when you are writing a bestseller, a thought leadership book, is that you need clarity and conviction. This means that if you hear me say something that might trigger you, or that might make you feel a certain kind of way, you don't care. You're going to move forward to write your book anyway. When you are establishing yourself as a thought leader by writing a best-selling book, this means that you're simply taking what you've already done and done well. You're taking what you know and you're packaging it into a book that you can then sell. So I want you to understand what this means. This means that you are taking your intellectual property, you are taking your methods, you are taking your systems, and you are packaging it into a book that then you can easily sell. Okay? That's what it is. Now you might package your book into a framework, you're going to put it into a system, but it needs to be packaged and structured in a way in which you can sell it. But the only way to get to that end result is to actually be is to actually write about what you know and what you do well. What I find, especially when it comes to the independent publishing space or writing space, anybody who has an experience, oh, I want to write a book about that. Anybody who has an idea about something jumps to, I want to write a book about that. They might not have the resources, they may not have the actual background knowledge. They seen somebody else write a book and they think that writing a book about that is the next best thing without any type of true background or true sustenance to which to sustain and prove and discuss your ideas. Now again, I'm not coming on to try to discourage anyone, but we have to be real about what we're getting into. Now, if you just want to share your thoughts and ideas, and you're not trying to build a brand around it, then honestly, you can go write an ebook in Canva, or you can get yourself a journal and share your thoughts. But when you are writing a bestseller and you want to become known and you want to establish yourself as a thought leader in your industry, then that means that you need to come with some heat. You need to come with a level of confidence in what you do that you are not easily swayed. This means that someone can challenge your ideas and you're still going to stand and remain flat footed on what it is you know and what it is you do. This also means that you know your topic in and out, you know your topic front to back. And because you know your topic in and out, because you know your topic front to back, because you have preferred professional experience, and if it's based on life experience, right? If you have professional experience, and if it's based on life experience, you've gone through it, you've gone out of it, and you can talk about it clearly and confidently without getting emotional about it. And you're focusing more so on you, your journey, and what you've done to overcome, as opposed to focusing on someone else and what they did to you. We have to talk about this. And we have to understand, because we have to get very, very clear, because some people are just, like I said, attracted to writing a book and doing something, but you're not prepared for what comes with that. You're not prepared for the process, the journey, and then you're not committed to actually bringing it to fruition and then doing the work that's required after the book comes out to actually promote it and spread your brand. Okay. So the second thing you need, when you're trying to determine whether or not you're ready to write a bestseller, whether or not you are ready to write a book that's going to establish you as a thought leader, is that you need competence. Study to show yourself approved. You need competence. You need some level of knowledge, some level of experience. Okay. You need history with this. I was reading with my husband, we're reading a book by Dr. John Gottman. And I was so impressed during the introduction of his book, because in his introduction, he wasn't talking theory. He was talking about the topic, but he was talking about all of the research that he and his wife had done to actually come to the conclusions that they come to get the data that they gotten, and to get the results that and the advice that they arrived at. They said that they interviewed like 3,000 people. They brought them back every single year to conduct interviews with them, and they actually tracked their progress and their process over an extended period of time. Now, that level of work and that level of research is normal to people who have the highest degree in the land, who have their doctoral degree. Like, they're used to conducting that level of research to test their theories and show their theories approved. And so I'm not saying that you have to go to that extreme, but you need to have some type of competence. This means that you're doing more than just writing off of emotion. You're doing more than just writing off of your viewpoint. You're writing from experience. Like, have you worked with clients? Like, prior to me writing my book, published and paid, that's right there. You guys on Instagram can't see it, but prior to me, let me see. Prior to me writing my book published and paid, right? I wrote this book so easily because I had done it. Not only had I done it with myself, but I had taken clients in and out through this process over and over and over again. I knew the questions that they were going to ask before they asked it. I knew the points of the writing and self-publishing process that they would tend to get stalled at, right? Which is why I created buffers for those places in my coaching programs. And I talked about those elements in the book. Like, what experience do you have to qualify? Like, what makes you qualified and credible to talk about this? Like, even with my very first book, 20 Pearls of Wisdom, A Woman's Guide to Self-Preservation. For some reason, my desk feels cricket here on LinkedIn. But even with my very first book, 20 Pearls of Wisdom, A Woman's Guide to Self-Preservation, even though that was a book based on personal experience, I had spent at least 5 years deep diving and studying self development, personal growth, and mindset. I used to study it in my pastime. I spent so much time going to different seminars, investing in different conferences, and literally changing my life to where I could talk about it. I could talk about the pitfalls that I experienced and strategic, specific strategies that I implemented to change. This is where we're talking about thought leadership. Studying to show yourself approved, guys. Studying to show yourself approved. Being able to challenge industry trends, being able to give advice to others for how they can continue their education and how they can upskill, how they can continue their skills development. Are you able to talk about that? Are you able to talk about that in your book? Are you able to mentor others? Even sharing how you lessons that you learn from your failures and how you adapted. Are you able to freely and clearly and confidently and competently talk about this and explain it in a way in which someone else can read it and then actually go and implement it? If not, you're not ready. If you are, if you can do that, you absolutely are ready. And we're not talking about anything esoteric or anything like that based on theory. What I'm talking about is clear, tangible outcomes. Clear, tangible outcomes. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, my computer was cricket. No, what's going on? There we go. Clear, tangible outcomes. That's what we're talking about, guys. Okay. The third element, like if you are trying to determine whether or not you are ready to write a bestseller, you need competence. This means that we talked about competence. I'm sorry, you need courage because it's more than just writing the book, it's bigger than just writing a book. You are building a thought leadership brand, a thought leadership brand. This means that you are establishing yourself as the go to authority. This means that you are not limiting yourself to just having an online business, but that you are positioning yourself to maximize the online space as well as the offline space. This is what it takes. This means that you are willing and able to grow a brand around your core ideas. If you're able to do this and if you're willing to do this, then you're ready to write a bestseller. I find that a lot of people talk about they want bestsellers without thinking about what being a bestseller or what having a bestseller requires. First and foremost, if you want to hit the New York Times bestsellers list, then you have to sell 5,000 books from a variety of outlets within a specific time frame. That's what's required for that. If I'm not mistaken, Wall Street Journal bestsellers list, I think, is about 2 or 3,000 books. Okay. But that means that you also have to market. A lot of people think also have they mistakenly they make the mistake of assuming that just because if they try to go write a book proposal and go the traditional publishing route, then they're going to get everything that they need. Now, your book might be in a traditional bookstore, but it's likely going to be in the back on the shelf, and it's not going to have prime time viewing. Because even when you go the traditional route, most publishing companies, unless you're already an established name, most publishing companies are going to publish your book. That you still have to market it yourself. You guys need to stop and do some research. Stop and do some research. Talk to people that have had their books traditionally published, and they'll tell you. Not only have I spoken to them, I've worked with them. You have to typically come up with your own marketing plan, hire your own PR or marketing agency, and still put boots to the ground and do the work. This is what's required. Okay. But what I find is that too many people are not doing the proper research. And so I want to encourage you to do the proper research, because if you come to me and you say, Jasmine, I'm ready to write my book. If you come to me talking about anything about, I want to share my story, I'm automatically going to tell you no, because you're not my ideal client. Because we don't, over here at the Impact Group, we don't just help people share their stories. We help experts and leaders build brands and profitable businesses by leveraging their book, by transforming their $1 million message into a best-selling book, signature speech, and high-ticket coaching program. That's what we do. And you're not going to be able to get that level of results by only sharing your story. It was just like a few weeks ago. And I hate to use this example, but everybody and their mama was talking about Risa Tisa and all of this, the young lady who went viral. And for some people were tagging me. Oh, she's sharing her story. Oh, she got this. She got y'all. It's what, 2-3 weeks later, and nobody's even talking about it anymore. Why is that? Because she doesn't. In 3 months, it's going to be forgotten about. In December, it'll probably recap as one of this year's highlights, and folks would be like, oh yeah, I remember her. I remember when that happened. Why? Because it wasn't a thought, because there wasn't a brand, there was no brand established, and there was no thought leadership. People like gossip, people like controversy, people like to feel like somebody else is doing worse than them. So when she came out with this, telling all of her business in this juicy story, it took off. But what is it? It's 2, maybe 3 weeks later, and now it's an afterthought. Folks on to the next, not even mentioning it or talking about it anymore. And that's just what it is. She got all these followers. She had some endorsements or whatnot. Many of them got canceled because there was not a brand created. There was not a brand involved. So you got to determine whether or not you just want some type of overnight, since you want to be some type of overnight sensation. It's fly by night, here today, gone tomorrow. Or whether or not you truly want a thought leadership brand. And thought leadership brands are not here today, gone tomorrow. Thought leadership brands create legacy that you can pass down to your children or to other family members. Thought leadership brands are here to stay. They're here for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, because it's built on sustenance. It's built on expertise. It's built on experience. And the whole goal is not just to share your story, but the whole focus is for you to help someone else get a breakthrough while you are still paid and compensated astronomically well for your knowledge, for your expertise, and for being an authority on your topic. And that's what I want to help you to do. So, listen, if you're watching this and you haven't yet registered for our workshop, we're still at the beginning of the Write Your Book, Skyrocket Your Coaching Business workshop. You can go ahead and secure your spot at www.jasminewomack.com/skyrocket. You can catch up on the first 2 days. Okay. Now, if you know that you are ready to work with me to take your book, your speaking, and your consulting business to the next level, to multiple six, and even seven-figure success, then you need to go ahead and apply to work with me in the Published and Paid Mastermind. Okay. And we can see if you're a good fit. And so if you are interested in learning more about the mastermind, feel free to shoot me a DM with the keyword mastermind. Then I will send you a link to schedule a call. Then we'll just have a call. Then we'll book, then we'll hop on to a call where we're just going to have a conversation. Number one, I don't sell anything to people who are ill equipped for it. Okay. So the mastermind may not be for you. We have a very high caliber professionals in the mastermind. But we are going to have a conversation to see if you're a good fit to work with me and if I'm a good fit to coach you. Okay? So send me a DM. If you're on YouTube, you can comment mastermind in the chats. If you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, feel free to send me a direct message, mastermind, and I'll reach out to you to give you the information and then we can hop on a call. Okay? Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm going to be back tomorrow with another installment where we're going to be talking about confidence. Okay. Because when you are ready to put yourself out there as a bestseller, when you're ready to create and grow and scale your thought leadership brand, there are certain things that you need. Right? There are certain elements and components that you need. There are certain characteristics that you need. So we're going to be talking about confidence because a lot of you all who identify as experts, you identify as leaders. You are confident when it comes to your profession and what you do day in and day out. But then when it comes to you putting yourself out there as the expert, then your confidence begins to get a little shaky. So I want to come and talk to you all about that and how you can effectively move past that. All right. You all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all later. I will see you all later. Peace, love, and impact.